with a familiar face that is going to continue to be a familiar face inside Davis Wade Stadium. Tulu Griffin, maybe the best kick returner in these United States at the collegiate level.
He averages, what is it? So the COVID year, it was 37 yards. The last 2 years, he averages 33 yards per return, which in your mind, you're like, that's not that much. How often do you take the ball out of deep into the end zone, right? So let's pretend that he fields every kick on the goal line, which is not usually how it works out. He is starting field position every time he receives a kick on the 33-yard line.
Which is really good starting field position.
That is the average.
All right, so I've been a part of the Ole Miss radio broadcast for a long time, and Harry Harrison, he has a drum that he beats, and he and David Kellum kind of do it together. That they think about the old 20-yard line and the new 25-yard line, and they're like, if you don't get the ball out to the 25, which more times than not, if you bring it out, you don't get to the 25, then you're starting a possession minus something, minus 3, minus 7, whatever it is. Like, you could be at the 25. At every level of football, that's good, better than historically average starting field position. Do this, catch the ball. There is an exception. The exception is if your name is Tulu Griffin. In which case, I want you to bring the ball out of the end zone almost every single time. I'll take the risk.
I mean, and if he catches it at the 3, we're at the 38. I mean, that's we're doing better each time. So.
Yeah.
So great job by Coach Arnett to replace the hole left by Tulu Griffin by getting Tulu Griffin out of the transfer portal. That's fantastic recruiting.
Yeah, if you're going to lose a guy like that, you got to go get somebody, like
Go
that, a
get
good
the
returner,
exact same guy,
great hair.
All right. So what happened?
I think at the end of the day, and it was a process, obviously. I think at the end of the day, he had some people in his ear saying you could get this and you could get that at other places, and maybe those other places were in his ear as well. But in the end, familiarity, and I'm sure. Look, I don't have any confirmation on this one way or the other, but I am sure that he squared away maybe a little bit more NIL money. But at the end of the day, just being at Mississippi State, his teammates and everything else, he decided to stay in Starkville over making a trip elsewhere.
This strikes me as one of those deals where you're like, you know what? I'm happy where I am. But I could be happier somewhere else. And so I'm willing to put myself out there to see what the market says. And if that is the way that Tulu Griffin went about it, he did a good job, right? Because he put himself on the open market. He found out that there was indeed value. I think we all feel confident in saying that Tulu Griffin could have left Mississippi State and gotten a handsome NIL deal somewhere. I don't know where that somewhere is. I don't know if it's in Athens or Auburn or Oxford or Ames, Iowa. But there were options out there for him.
Yeah.
But Mississippi State also recognized that, you know what? Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you how nice your car is before you're reminded of how nice your car is. And State looks at it. They're able to come up with something to probably sweeten the pot a little bit. And it's a winner all the way around, right? I mean, I think we talked with Charlie Winfield enough and gleaned enough insight into the way that he's approaching these deals to know that the Bulldog Initiative did not bankrupt itself to keep Tulu Griffin.
No.
But
no,
they also looked at the scenario and said, this is how we can responsibly make it a good deal for him, make it a good deal for Mississippi State, make it a good deal for the Bulldog Initiative, and everybody can move forward and be happy. Except for those people that told him that he needed to jump off a bridge. I don't know. Maybe they have changed their minds. Now they're hoping that he had a bungee cord attached.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting stat. Of the thousands of players who have entered the transfer portal, 25 of them have decided to come back to their original school. Only 25.
Only 25?
State got 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, with Xavion Thomas and Tulu Griffin. And maybe not done yet.
Oh, yeah?
Still,
Who else we got?
still efforting, still working. Although he's committed to Washington, there's still a chance that Dylan Johnson will return to Mississippi State. We talked about that. We talk about that a little bit more in depth on tomorrow's Thunder and Lightning podcast. But State's coaching staff is still in communication with Dylan Johnson, trying to see if they can keep him in the fold here in Starkville.
Because he wanted carries, right? I mean, that's why.
If that's what he wanted, guess what? He's got him. He can get him next year in this offense. So.
It is interesting, though, right? Because he hits the portal, possibly looked around, fielded some offers, whatever. That may upset some people. I feel like I have to put this qualifier on it that this is college football now. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
There is another SEC player that transferred from one SEC school to another. I don't want to knock a kid, so I'm just going to leave it at that. That hit the portal and got an offer that is far larger than his production and worth. And so he took it. And I don't blame him for that, and nor should anybody else. But that kind of thing is out there. So if players do that, would you fault anybody for doing the same thing in their professional life? No, probably not. If somebody's going to offer you more money, a lot more money than you get where you currently are, wouldn't you dip your toes in that well and see? Wouldn't you go fishing in that pond, if you will?
This is what everybody should be doing. You know, if you can get better offers for your talents, you should be looking at them. That's how life should work. You can't get mad at somebody for doing that.
You got to be really happy and really content and in a really good situation to just carte blanche say, no, I'm good. I don't need to test the market. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't need to go anywhere else. I'm happy.